The context in El Salvador right now is that democracy is dying. Hi, my name is María Luz Nochez, and I'm a journalist from El Salvador. I'm the current Shelter City guest in Utrecht. The context in El Salvador right now is that democracy is dying, and several are cheering while it happens. And this is in the context of the biggest human rights violation that we had since the war. There is no longer a system of checks and balances, and power is being used and exercised by a small group of people led by President Bukele since he took office in 2019. They have shut down transparency and accountability, which is gravely threatening the right of Salvadoran citizens to access information and to be informed. I will say that the most important part of my work is the coverage that I do in gender-based violence, because this is usually something that goes underreported, and sadly this is not something that scandalizes people in El Salvador. We have the lowest homicide rates we've ever had. For women, it's still a threat, to live even in their own houses. So I think it is important to give them a voice, and to give them a chance to talk about their situations they've been through and to treat their stories in a non-revictimizing manner that allows people to know these issues that usually are considered, normal. I would say that the most dangerous thing of being a journalist right now in El Salvador, an independent journalist, that is a very important distinction to make, is the harassment. The president's tweet on, he uses his Twitter to say that they have a war against the independent media, but also they have used the state to do financial audits to El Faro because the president already accused us of money laundering. So that is one of the many phases of the harassment that we are facing right now. There's been a few incidents that I would say that have put me in risk during the Bukele administration, but maybe the most scandalous one was the Pegasus infection on our phones. We discovered on November 2021 that our phones were compromised because they were using the spyware Pegasus to be in our phones and to follow all of our activities, related with our phone. So yeah, they took everything they wanted, including our sense of privacy, and we have learned now to live under surveillance, which is, of course, not a nice way to live. And I will say that the other one is that some drones have been spotted outside some of our houses, and I spotted recently one outside of my house in San Salvador. So yeah, I just needed to be outside of San Salvador for a while in order to feel like that my mental health is getting better. We received threats. Someone said on a Facebook message that they were going to put a bomb outside of our offices. So we were no longer working as a newsroom, everyone was working from home. That feeling of someone is hearing whatever I'm saying because they're on my phone, it was just creating a very poor state of mind for myself. And I just needed to get out of there and be able to experience a much more calm way of life. Shelter City is a program that hosts human rights defenders and journalists like me for a short stay in the Netherlands to move away from the hostile context where we're living in. I'm in Utrecht right now, and I'm being hosted here by Peace Brigades International, which is supported by the Utrecht municipality and the Human Rights Institute, which also offered me a spot to take a course in the summer school in Utrecht University. And I'm going to be here for 2.5 months. The Shelter City initiative is giving me the opportunity to raise awareness about what's going on in El Salvador, but also about my work. which I really appreciate because it will help me to make connections with other people in the same area. But also I will say that the most important thing is, the chance to rest and to be away from that hostile context where, of course, I was not feeling well anymore. And a very important thing as well is to take some trainings in digital security, which keeps being one of the most important things for us as journalists. So I'm very grateful to be here. It is a city that will definitely help me get the rest that I needed. I just love the canals. Being near water, like water in general calms people, and for me it's very important because I come from a country where, we have water very close by. So just being able to see water here, it does a lot for my mental health. I will say that one of the most memorable things that I've experienced here is the human rights course that I was able to take, because it gave me a better perspective about, the arguments that those in power usually use in their favor, of course. And also, to have more tools when writing about these issues. I do think that we need to talk more about what all of the things that we go through affect ourselves, in terms of how good are we to keep doing our work. If we are burnt out, we might be able to keep doing our work, but eventually our body is going to react. Please support journalism, independent journalism. We can do our work without your support, not only money, but also sharing the work that we do.